Hi everyone, I'm Meagan Kirchner. I'm a U.S. immigration attorney that specializes in assisting companies in navigating the complex H-2B visa process. Now, one of the more common questions I get is who is responsible for applying for the H-2B visa, the company or the prospective worker? The answer may surprise you. It's actually the company that is responsible for initiating and navigating and managing the H-2B visa process. Now, this includes the filing with Department of Labor and USCIS, as well as initiating the consular appointments. So it's important to note that the entire process, including all legal fees, filing fees, consular fees, are borne by the employer. You should at no point be requested to front any of those fees or reimburse the employer for fees that they've paid to apply for this visa. Now, it's important to note, as part of that Department of Labor filing process, the employer is responsible for obtaining a prevailing wage. That wage is crucial. It will be on your work contract. It will follow you throughout the process, and you should expect to receive at least that prevailing wage throughout your work contract. This wage is set by the Department of Labor. It's not set by the employer, and it's meant to ensure that the prospective H-2B workers are paid a fair wage, as well as make sure that U.S. employees' wages are not undercut. So, important note there. Now, once an employer is actually approved by USCIS and is able to schedule workers for consular appointments for their H-2B visas, that is where a lot of these compliance obligations, as far as costs, will come into play. Every employer is required to pay your consular fees. So if you have to pay a fee to the Department of State to apply for your H-2B visa and obtain an appointment, it may be that you pay the fee initially, but you should be reimbursed it in the first work week. Every employer handles this a little differently. It may be that you pay it and then you're reimbursed, and also maybe the employer proactively pays it for you and then lets you know when your appointment takes place. A lot of employers will use agents or recruiters to help contact you, get your DS-160s filled out, and get you scheduled for that appointment. That is very common. It's important to note, if they are using anybody in that capacity, either as, like I said, as a recruiter, a scheduler, just an agent to assist them throughout the process, you as a prospective worker should not be paying a headhunter fee or an application fee for any part of that process. If you are, let the prospective employer know. They're the one that's going to be out of compliance if their agent or recruiter is charging you an improper fee. So it's important to let them know. Additionally, employers are going to be responsible for your inbound and outbound transportation costs. Now, this doesn't mean you can go book a first class flight and stay at a 5-star hotel while you're waiting for your consular appointment. But you are going to be entitled to either reimbursement upon arriving, or some employers will book it, like I said, on your behalf and provide you with the tickets. The standard for the employer for that reimbursement is least cost common carrier. So if you're in Mexico and it's most common for people in the industry to have you get a bus ticket to come up, that's going to be the expected reimbursement. Whatever it would have cost the employer to book a bus fare, that's what you are going to be entitled to. You're not going to be entitled to a $1,500 flight ticket if it's normal for where you are and where you're coming from to have a $300 plane ticket. So bear that in mind if you're booking your own travel. You're also going to be entitled to subsistence fees or reimbursement. So if you're having meals or staying in a hotel, be sure to keep all of your receipts and provide those for reimbursement with your employer when you arrive. Even if they bought your plane ticket, if you had to stay at the hotel for a multi-day interview process and pay for meals you're away from your home, keep those receipts. Now, it's also important to note that at the end of the season, you're going to be entitled to outbound transportation. That means the cost of return transportation from the work site to your home. So be sure to either get reimbursement before you leave if you book it yourself, or ensure that they're paying for it for you. So that's an important item, so that you make sure that you're not on the hook for the outbound transportation. The employer is. If you're not going home to your home country, you're doing a change of employer and country or extension, then your new employer is going to be responsible for paying your transportation from your old employer to the new U.S. work site. So bear that in mind as well. If you're transferring in country, you're still not responsible for that transportation between work sites. So just remember, the H-2B process starts and ends with the employer. The company is responsible for the filing the application, paying the costs, and making sure every compliance step and cost is reimbursed throughout the process. When done right, the H-2B program is really a win-win. Businesses get the help they need during the season, and prospective workers get lawful, temporary job opportunities in the U.S. that are paid fairly. Now, if you're an employer considering H-2B, my firm helps with every step of the process from filing to compliance. So feel free to reach out, and thanks for watching.